Hello?
Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Hello, welcome to Mercytv, your source for news and information on the cannabis issue as it unfolds here in Oregon, across America, and around the world. Greetings, my name is Perry, and along with PK, we'll be hosting this segment of Mercytv, along with our special guests, Eddie the Weedman, and who do we have here?
Brianna Bigger.
Hello,
This
Rihanna.
is my daughter.
Welcome to our show. And, gosh, there's so much to cover, huh?
Well, we first want to say hello to the people in the hospital who are watching this program. Please get in touch with your doctor about using cannabis. You don't have to smoke it. And I hope you're enjoying my program, My Garden. I'm showing you how to take care of medical cannabis garden there. I recently showed you a male plant, and you know what you would want to do with that.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Sayonara song.
So see that here later on Channel 23, along with other Mercytv projects like the Oregon Cannabis Commission hearing that was, I believe, a couple weeks ago, maybe a little more. So, and more to come. Yeah, by all means, contact us to let us know of any happening events so we can get our TV crew too. Thanks.
So please call 503.
588
6444.
Mercytv.
What for? Well, whatever you need. Question,
You need
comment.
questions, ask me a question, Brianna a question maybe, PK, Perry,
Curse,
anybody.
Kudo.
Kurt, yeah.
Do you have any resources? Do you know of a good place to try to match up patients and growers? That's a big need in the patient community now. Also, medicinal resources. The commission, or OLCC, who's running the program, cannabis program here in Oregon, recently declared that patients can no longer pick up their due allotment of 24 ounces and limited to instead to a mere 1 ounce,
Now you can dispensary shop or whatever, but that's
they're gonna
already kind of
tighten that
breaking the
other
law
little
too.
loophole.
That's
Yeah,
really
see.
breaking the law.
The medical dispensaries can still give the 24.
If it's a
But
medical.
only the medical, not the recreational.
But there's only two.
Yeah. And, and
That's
the...
correct. Only two.
The reason why they had those kind of limits was because back when the program was originally voted in by the people, it was a grower/patient-centric system. And it was meant that a grower could take care of multiple patients.
Not anymore.
And growers could take care of growers. You could have multiple growers at a residence, at an address,
Right.
All that's been torpedoed by the recent legislation and all. And it's all been due to, false reefer madness news, quote unquote.
How it's so terrible and so bad
Well, not
for
only
everybody.
that there's so much more of it, that all of it that's being grown is really being, flung out to the black market, that was the whole intent all along, and so.
But they're violating, the government is violating our civil rights in Section 20, where it states all people should be treated equally. I don't believe the patients of the cannabis program is being treated equally with these outrageous...
Yes, they are being treated equally. We're being added some additional charges and fees to have a medical grower for us instead of paying taxes.
Yep, it's unfair.
Yep.
So can I ask you a question? Brianna, what do you think about cannabis? What is your opinion? What are your beliefs?
That it can be bad sometimes and it can kind of be good sometimes.
So have you seen? Do you believe that your father advocates for children to smoke this stuff? Do you think I tell children to smoke this stuff? Okay, I just want to get that straight.
No.
Because
Is that clear?
you know, but I don't lie to you about this stuff, right? It's no great magic thing. It's not. You know, we've talked about it. We've talked about a lot of things. Do you feel better about being educated about this cannabis instead of having to learn about it on the streets from your friends?
Yeah.
Do any of your friends use cannabis? What grade are you in? You're going into sixth
Sixth.
now? Sixth grade? So you're just starting. You haven't even gone yet, have you?
No.
So what have I taught you if somebody what do I say if somebody hands you, say, here, smoke some of this? What do you say?
No, thank you. Or
You're
just
good.
walk away.
And do you tell an adult? Okay. Well, that's good.
Very good.
You sure are being a brave young lady here, out just sitting here and talking about such a very touchy issue.
Well,
you know?
very adult issue, yeah.
Very adult
certainly, you know.
issue, but you know, one woman that completely disbelieves in cannabis. We talked over Facebook over some issues, negative issues, some bigotry.
Right.
And she saw that too. Yes, there are children that can benefit. Everybody's seen the video, or
Right.
they should, with the boy with the put the roll on of the CBD oil on his foot, and he stopped the seizures. Brianna remembers, I used to have, well, my third wife, she had seizures. And I got my cannabis card to help her with her seizures. And you saw that firsthand, haven't you, Brianna? What do you think about seizures? How did you feel? Were you scared, happy? Could you tell us about that?
Well, I was kind of scared. I was actually really scared because just scares me.
When you saw her on the ground and what
Yeah, I'm
happened?
Well, you're not sure what's happening for those who haven't experienced it. When you first see it, even in the repeated episodes, you know, it's like, oh gosh, you know. And
You never know.
but over time, folks do learn, and one of the therapeutic aspects is cannabis pre and post seizure. We can't say that it prevents them, you know, that it cures the cause of them, say cases of epilepsy and so forth,
Well, remember
brain
the
injuries, the whole list of things.
But
that-
it
Parkinson's-
does calm them down.
Yes.
And
Right, yes, the
Makes you
post
hungry.
and the effects. You know, like when you're going through the spasms,
Right.
the shaking effect, it's just like other conditions like Parkinson's, and therefore where it's the muscles are experiencing this stress
Right,
and
the tightening
tension
and everything.
and they end up, you know, with the soreness and all kinds of joint issues, and again, your cannabis effects. And as we speak about frequently in the show here, you don't have to smoke it. You know, you can
Right.
make it in a manner that is both non-obtrusive, doesn't put smoke in the air for your kids and others, but is also relatively non-toxic, you know. These rubbing it in and the other topical applications.
And then
you know, so.
and we do, you know, we talk about all the good things about cannabis, though. Let's talk a little bit, if we could, about any adverse effects. And on a young mind, I do believe that smoking marijuana or cannabis, they've done studies that it can hinder minds. But then, I don't know, what is your stand on that, Perry? I mean, there's been so many studies. I mean, there's a study in Amsterdam, they said that you lose like 10 IQ points from
really?
using cannabis.
May I interject on that? President Nixon, 1970, ordered a study in 1972 about smoking cannabis, smoking marijuana, to prove that it was worse than smoking cigarettes. 1974, the study came back. He took one look at the cover page, threw it in the trash. The next day he classified it. The following day he had it destroyed.
Yep.
The only thing remaining is the cover page that
The
says
original Marijuana
smoking
Commission.
marijuana cured 2 counts of lung cancer
Yep.
Yeah.
and had no side effects.
Adverse, right? Yep. The Marijuana Commission, 1970s-ish. Look it up, folks, on your little internets nearby. So, as far as the adverse effects of cannabis and kids, and I want to take a moment to say that whatever, it's not a known thing at this point.
We need more
mostly because
studies.
of prohibition. The drug war is not allowing the truth out. So you say there were studies, presented by who, funded by who,
well, vague,
is what I'd first ask before I could say, okay, well, that's invalid. Most folks need to go with their experience, and I believe that it's not something that should be done without thought or consideration.
Right. Oh, lots of thought and consideration.
At the same time, there is no need for panic or fear, especially that caused by reefer madness. There's been countless cases amongst our personal smaller community as well as the larger community of kids getting into your brownies and, highly laced, very potent stuff, eating, enough that would, if the drug war lies were true, kill a horse. And in fact, no one has died from any of these encounters.
I did do a show with Officer Pace, Mike Pace from the Toledo Police Department. He's a sergeant there.
Mm-hmm.
We did a radio show about a child that had got a hold of some edibles, and it was a young child, like 3, and that baby had seizures.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that, and the one thing that we got out of it, out of a negative thing that happened, is we all as cannabis users need to be responsible. Put those things up. I know a lady. She's a grandmother. She says, well, when I go visit the grandchildren, she says I don't bring my candies with me in my purse. It's just a common sense thing, and that's why people. It's like everybody freaking out about the cannabis is going to kill you. Maybe if a brick, a ton fell on your head. Though I have overdosed myself, and I wished I would have been dead. Though I didn't die, and I was like, oh boy, it was like.
Yeah, but you didn't get your wish. Yes, no.
Yeah, well, we talked about it before. I took those 2. I took like 10 times the dose of RSO, unwittingly thinking, oh yeah, my buddy said he did too. I didn't think he's like 300 pounds or bigger than taller than that. The the differences, and yeah, I paid. So it's like, for me, safety first and common sense. And to me, I feel like we're doing this here with Brianna. She doesn't have to learn it from the streets. She's seen her dad mess up firsthand. She's seen me when I was on other drugs, on meth and on alcohol. And to this day that I don't do that, and I only use cannabis, I use it wisely, responsibly. We have better times. We have so much better times. And even though we might not get to spend all the time that we want to together, it's quality time. I mean, she'll look back on this and say, well, my dad, we are all a part of history right now. And Paul,
sure, it's ongoing. Yeah,
I mean,
we were thinking of the, back when Paul and I first met, and some of our earlier activities in the '90s and so forth. There, look at how far we've come, and yet how far we've yet to go.
Right.
The war making its presence known there.
Well,
now, on a couple of items I want to touch briefly. Kids and cannabis. For whatever negative aspects there are, I think they're far and outweighed by the positive benefits. We're finding situations where nothing else works, and then once we end the war, we'll find out ways to...
We have a caller.
Okay,
Hey.
Go ahead, caller.
Hello,
Hi there.
how's it going? I'm watching the show live on Facebook, so
Hello, thank you.
All right, well, thanks for calling
Is
in.
this John?
yes.
Thank you.
Well, hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. I'd like to ask a question about the subject they're talking about. So, can you put me on?
Oh, you're on right now.
Live TV.
Are you picking yourself up?
You
Hope
might not. You might not be able to hear it on
Yeah,
Facebook.
let's not get feedback going here. But yeah, you're on. Just go ahead, John.
Okay.
Did we lose him?
No, I'm here.
Oh,
Just listening to the other guy talk.
did you have a question, John?
Yes, I did.
Please go right ahead.
Oh, my name is John Friends again. How you guys doing?
Good, brother.
Excellent, buddy.
You remember me calling in a couple weeks ago?
Yes,
sir.
yes. You're from California.
Yeah, I'm from California. So you guys have got the subject of kids and cannabis, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, we have a little child. We have a little child in America. His name is Daryl Riddle, and he has Landon Riddle. He cured his leukemia with. Okay, well here we go. I'm on the phone. So hey, listen.
Uh-huh.
What I'm about to say is we got 6 million little children that go to the school, and teachers that have no degrees, they tell the parents that they have to put their child, and mainly little boys, on Ritalin.
Yep.
It happened to my grandson. And so I took him to the doctor and said, look, if you're going to put him on meth or Ritalin, then put him on cannabis. And so we have children using cannabis medicine in America. It's just not known. And
Right.
so it's cured this Landon Riddle. His mom's name is Sierra Riddle, and he's been up on Hempfest stage in Seattle and many stages. He's been on TV, and he cured his leukemia.
Killer.
He died
Wow.
when he was 2 years
Excellent.
old. So
Praise God.
children,
Yeah. Amen.
my
Hallelujah.
grandson, he was around his grandma that was taking narcotics like Oxycontin, and he ate 2 Vicodin, went to the doctors, and they didn't do anything for him. So if you get into cannabis, the worst thing that's going to happen to a child, they're going to go to sleep and wake up.
Yep.
If they eat opiates or meth, they die.
Yep.
Even alcohol. So in history, children used to use cannabis medicine, but it was made in the pharmaceutical grade with alcohol. So cannabis doesn't kill. Alcohol does, medicine
Right.
and pharmaceutical. So, guys, I'm going to be up in Portland at the Cannabis Science Conference with the poster that says, "Cannabis cured my Oxycontin addiction." I hope that
Excellent.
today and everybody sees this. Cannabis cured
Well-
my Oxycontin addiction.
What,
Right
isn't
on.
that like on the 27th, 28th, 29th or something like
Yeah,
that?
in Portland, and you guys should bring your TV crew up there and get a hold of whoever. His name is Josh Crown. Josh, what's his last name? Crosney.
Right.
Cannabis Science Conference. You guys, if you're doing it, you guys do TV. You guys are media. Get up there.
That's us.
Do a show.
Get your press pass, PK. Dust it off.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, hey, anyway, I don't know what else to talk about other than what you guys have been talking about. So, hey, what I needed to know was Oregon has their own state law. But when we travel to Oregon from other medical cannabis legal states, we get to bring our law with us. So I'm from California, and I get to travel to Oregon and be a visitor, but I still don't honor what you guys' still rates are, man. I got to be there 4 days.
Right on. Yeah.
Can I take?
Well, unfortunately, Oregon does not have reciprocity or respect for other states' laws. But
You're wrong. In 2005, I got arrested on 5 pounds of marijuana, and they had to honor my California. I did a president in 2005. We're talking 13 years ago, people.
Take the phone.
I
I got arrested because in 2005, you could only have 8 ounces on your possession. Well, they caught me with 5 pounds going through your state. So sorry, it got acquitted, it got dropped. And the reason why is because of a doctor named Todd Micarita from California.
right.
Federal patient, LV Musica. So LV lives real close to you guys. If I get some time, I'm going to bring her to your show so you guys can see
Yeah,
her.
we had her on once a long time ago. That'd be great.
Thank
See
you.
her again.
She's a personal
LV is
friend.
a special friend of mine.
You
Excellent.
too.
Yeah, you'll stop and see her in Eugene then on your way up, right?
Well, I'll be, I'm kind of busy, but no.
Okay. Oh, I hear you, bro. I'm there.
Well, I hope we can get up there.
Me all the time, so.
Well, it's been a spell since we've been down to visit her too. So,
I went to Columbia with her. Did you know that?
no, really.
Yeah, she's from Columbia. And so I went down to Expo MediWeed back in December of 1996 with her. It was her first trip back to Columbia in 50 years. And we went by her hometown and visited Laguna Grande in Columbia, where she was
Wow,
born.
interesting. Well, but she ended up in Florida, where she became the first, I guess, or one of the first federal
Yeah. I think
patients.
it was 1988 when she
excellent.
got the Florida court approval for the compassionate use program. I think she was the first woman and the third person, and only one of 3 left. Maybe 2. I know Irv Rosenfeld
Right.
in Florida
Oh, yeah,
is the other
excellent.
medical patient.
I'm glad he's
But I
hanging in
think,
there.
There's 4 lives, but only 2 get it.
4 alive and only 2 get it?
Yes, sir. George McMahon and Barbara Douglas, they lost their doctor in Iowa. Elvie still has a doctor, and so does Irvin Rosenfeld. So Irvin gets a half a pound, and so does Elvie. All for free, guys.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
It's sub-quality, though,
It's,
I can tell you. It's not
Doesn't
very
matter
good,
about the
but
quality. You got to understand, they're the only 2 in the whole America.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, they're like unicorns. The feds deny they exist there, actually. So-
They do?
You know the difference between Elvie and me? She's federally recognized.
right.
So
Oh,
am
but-
I, John Prince. You know how? I get paid by 2 entitlements, Medicare and Social Security. In Social Security, they've written me, and so is Medicare. They're okay with me using medical marijuana in lieu of opiates. And so
Excellent.
U.S. Senator Feinstein says as long as I follow state law, hey, no prosecution federally. Why? Because I learned this word from Elvie, you guys. Medical necessity defense.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How
Beautiful.
she got her weed. She got caught growing 6 little bitty plants in Florida in 1986. So the whole deal is
Yeah.
medical necessity defense from all the way from the top to the bottom. Anyway, I'll let you guys go, and I want to watch the rest of your show.
Right on. Well,
Thank
thanks
you,
for calling
John.
in, John. Appreciate it.
It's
Hope
always
to-
a pleasure, and you guys be cool.
Right on. You too, bro. Thanks, man.
Bye.
Excellent. Well, and, before we forget,
Good seeing you. I haven't seen you
Paul.
in ages.
Yeah.
Good to see you,
Welcome
Barry.
to D. Paul Stanford,
Howdy, bud.
Yes.
renowned,
Paul
long-time cannabis law reform activist.
Yes.
Wow, and and as you were talking about those items, reminded me of the war stories, particularly some of the kids that benefit from cannabis. Also, though, the negative impact and effect of the war on cannabis on kids, I think, should be noted and documented. Why we should stop the war and release the research and make it so we can have a safe, effective one. The THC least, less cannabis and other aspects. Although, hey, there's nothing wrong with the THC.
Well, we
you should be
educate our
afraid of that.
children. I mean,
So,
The federal government has patents on different cannabis products.
well, cannabinoids,
and
cannabinoids,
you
yeah.
can check that in their website. We had the number on the Mercy Center.
Yeah, they have a couple of patents.
But one question that our caller asked, and Paul may know the answer to this: do we have reciprocity here in Oregon for cannabis patients from other
does
states?
their law come with them?
No, not for medical coverage. There's, anyone over the age of 21 is legal.
Right.
But
Right,
it
if
used
of course
to
you
be
come in and
that
there's
any patient, the court ruled that if they couldn't deny out-of-state patients the ability to get an Oregon license. And
Okay.
so a number of people got, probably about 500 people got Oregon licenses. We had people come from Wisconsin.
Right.
Willie
Yeah.
Nelson and his whole tour
Right.
got medical
Right,
marijuana
I'm
licenses.
familiar with the
and it saved them
individuals that
from a
had
bust in
like
Arizona
3
one
states,
time.
the Washington, California, Oregon.
Yeah.
Because it was necessary for their business, for their livelihood. So.
Yeah, back before now it's legal in those 3 states.
Right.
But,
So as an adult, I can, but I don't know. I think the
there-
California medical limits is 3 ounces for your personal carry, or as what's
I'm
the-
not 100% certain about the
Right.
amount that can be carried in California. I can't.
But anyway, so no, but whatever limits they are, they don't apply here in Oregon medically. I believe
Yeah.
that as you're saying recreationally, they can pick up an ounce and
Yeah,
travel.
and you
out
heard
there
they
for-
just curtailed medical purchasers.
yeah,
Just effective
wow.
today.
Another knee to the groin of the patients there.
Yeah,
you know?
apparently they said that 3% of the patients were buying multiple 24 ounces at several dispensaries. And so they know who
Right.
those patients are. But they went specifically and bought 24 ounces and then went to another dispensary, got
Sure,
24 ounces, and went to another. So they're afraid of diversion. And so this is a quote,
Mm-hmm.
an emergency rule that was put into effect with no given notice.
Right.
But now patients cannot buy 24 ounces,
Yeah.
at least for
Right.
6 months, and then they will determine over the next 6 months whether to extend that or change that.
How about evidence or proof, much less notice? You know? How about
Yeah, well, that would be good. Or why not go after those 3 people, that 3%,
Right,
you know, who are buying, and ask them instead of,
and
punishing everyone.
even this story, as bad as it sounds, there's a number of cases even back in the day where, these communities, would just grow so sick and tired that they'd go and get as much as they could and disseminate to their community.
And then
they'd all
another
pool
big
their monies
story
together and
is
stuff.
the LaMotta chain,
Right.
which had the very unusual corporate name of Black Market Distribution. They were closed down today by the state because of diversion out of state. Yeah, I mean, that's a very strange name to pick for your marijuana legal business. Black Market Distribution.
Not that would attract attention.
LaMotta was
LaMotta,
just
it's gotta be
the
Hispanic.
second largest chain. It wasn't really, I don't know.
LaMotta. Isn't
Yeah,
that
well, it's
LaMotta?
a Spanish word for cannabis, one of the many.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
one of the many.
one in Salem there, as a fact. I've driven by and seen it. Shuttered up now, unfortunately, I think. like
Yeah,
the
they
others.
said they were considering just fining them, but they put them out of business.
Anyway.
Actually, I believe they've been fined 4 times.
Oh,
past.
prior to
Okay.
this or before this?
Right.
Man.
Well, how about the future? We've heard about something called the Scarecrow Project. Something about arranging for distribution of the excess amongst the patient
medical
community.
patients.
Yeah, there's talk of distributing some of the excess. There hasn't been any real movement behind it. The powers that be are basically screwing patients right now. I think it's going to take some more work on behalf of patients because right now they're the unwanted stepchild. I heard that they're trying to completely eliminate growers for patients so that patients have to buy through.
See, that's
the,
what should we do, Paul?
Well, is this the case of the government wanting taxes again? They're tired of hiding it in the.
No, they don't want people growing.
I
They
don't
want
think
people-
it's just the government. I think
Brianna.
it's the people who have the licenses don't want the competition either.
Right.
They don't want free medicine going to the patients, or some of them, not all of them, but some of the dispensaries are giving away free medicine to patients, and those are to be commended. But
They should be giving it away.
Before we.
well, right. If there's several times more than they need, then I think patients with demonstrated needs should be able to get it for free.
Okay, we're going to do a quick station break here for the end of our show where it's being broadcast, and then we'll pick up our conversation here with D. Paul Stanford, cannabis law reform activist, because, man, we got a whole bunch of questions yet to ask. I don't know if they'll still be able to call in past 7:30, but you can go to our website, mercycenters.org.
And we're on we're on Facebook and Instagram right there. Our little camera woman, she's got us on Instagram.
So tune in there. In the meantime, tune in
another
next
half
week
hour.
to us here at
Thanks for having
Mercytv.
me.
We'll see ya.
You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.
Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.